These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, February 12th. Just wrapped up recording Talking C's with Bobby Koritsky live. So if you'd like to check that out, it'll be on the channel. Last night is a video, or you can check the live stream in full. It was a good time. We did some trivia, did a bunch of other stuff, so make sure to check that out. If you'd like to know our full thoughts on the Celtics Heat game, you can check out that video as well. That went out Monday morning, I should say. So you can see that there. But we are here again with another podcast with no game. Last one went an hour 40. This one will definitely not be that long because we have other stuff to do. But we are here. Sam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's Monday. I don't have to go into work tomorrow because of the snow. I won trivia on Talking C's.
Spoiler.
And we're doing playback tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are. The video was already out.
I know, but I just told them to go watch it. So hopefully they went right when I said it to go watch it. But anyways, it was a good time. Super Bowl was last night. Last night as we're recording this. The Chiefs won, unfortunately, even though I didn't really care who won. After the game, I realized probably didn't want them to win. In hindsight, I was like, that's probably not great. So Niners lost. I bet on the Niners. Not a good time. I know you. Did you have money on the Niners too, or did you just want them to win?
I had money on them.
Yeah, tough. Very tough. Tough night for the fellas. But so the cookie crumbles. Anyways, let's jump into the first topic of discussion, which is something Celtics and Heat fans have been crying about on Twitter all day. We talked about this on Talking C's, but we're talking about it again here because it is the topic of discussion.
The waterworks, full effect.
That is the case. Jaylen Brown's play on Duncan Robinson. So fourth quarter, I believe, of Celtics Heat, which a game the Celtics won 110-106. Jaylen Brown and Duncan Robinson got into an altercation. I'll pull up the video on the screen here for YouTube watchers, YouTube viewers. If you are not a YouTube viewer, what are you doing? Go check us out on YouTube. We're there posting every day, more than just the 3 times a week, or maybe more. You get it on audio platforms, so go check it out. So this is the play. Jaylen Brown and Duncan Robinson. I'm pulling it up here on the screen again on YouTube. Jaylen Brown and Duncan Robinson get entangled. Jaylen Brown sort of flings him into the crowd. Duncan Robinson arm is caught. Jaylen Brown flings him, and Duncan Robinson goes flying. So, question being asked on Twitter, being asked on everywhere basically right now is, was it a dirty play? Was it a dirty play? Did Jaylen Brown intentionally try to hurt him? You know, should it have been a flagrant? Was it Duncan Robinson's fault? Sam, thoughts?
I'm going to steal what Bobby said because I think it was a great way to explain it. Lowercase dirty play. Everything's in lowercase. It certainly was a dirty play, but Duncan Robinson did not get hurt. He's not injured. This will not matter in 5 weeks in terms of his health or the team's success. It will matter in the way that the players feel about the Celtics / Jaylen. And, you know, definitely isn't what you want. You don't want to see somebody trying to whip somebody around or arm drag them. But with Jaylen, it's kind of out of character. We've watched Jaylen play basketball for, 8 years now? This is his 8th season as a pro. And we have never seen him do anything like this. Miami, Bobby went down a wicked long list. Shout out to where we're from. Wicked long list of instances where players on the Heat have done things that may be dirty. They employed Kyle Lowry. Dwayne Wade ripped Rondo's arm down and then dislocated his elbow. Bam is always fumbling around out there doing something. Hit Porzingis in the balls yesterday. But this has become a issue of controversy because Celtics fans do not want to admit that this was anything out of the ordinary, that there was anything wrong with this. And this is what I'm going to say. If the roles were reversed, this fan base would be crying as much as possible. Duncan Robinson would be on the hot seat being called for suspension. Celtics fans would say he's a dirty player forever. If Jaylen had gotten hurt, it would be even worse. And do you know how I know this, Jack? because Porzingis got sack tapped and they have not stopped crying about it.
Yeah.
They have said Bam made a dirty play on the drive. He had his arm swing up in a running motion as he was in a low stance trying to blow past Porzingis. Hit him in the balls. Did he rip through a little bit? Yes, he did. But this, for the most part, was at first a natural motion and then becomes a bit more. Not what you want to see for Porzingis. He's clearly feeling it, not feeling great. But all they've done is talk about this. So the main point I want to take away from this, and then we can go through all the quotes and stuff because we haven't even mentioned what was said. Please don't, one, compare this play and the other play we showed you, and don't take the Jaylen play and make it out to be some sort of basketball play.
Do the
It
rankings.
wasn't.
I like the rankings you did on Talking Seas. Do that again.
The rankings of who should cry?
Yeah.
Okay. So crying power rankings today. Duncan Robinson should absolutely be able to cry.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson's Miami Heat teammates should also be able to cry. Miami Heat fans should also be able to cry, but they're not on the team. And then Celtics fans, way at the bottom, can't cry. Not a day to cry. It's freezing out, actually. If you cry, it'll freeze to your face.
Agree. Listen, I think I said this on Talking Seas. I'll say it again because it's how I think. Multiple things can be true, right? The Heat can have a reputation for playing dirty. The Heat can live in the gray area of dirty play. Duncan Robinson could have been too handsy on that play. That's true. Bam Adebayo could have given Porzingis a little extra unnecessary, scooping whatever to the groin area. But Jaylen Brown can also have done a dirty play. And like you said, with the quotes after the game, Jaylen Brown said, "I bet he won't do it again." If him saying that doesn't immediately make you think, "Oh, wow, so he did mean to do it," then you just are wearing green glasses because that's exactly what happened. He said, "I bet he won't do it again," which screams, "Yeah, I did it. What are you going to do about it?" And Celtics fans can like it all they want, but like you said, Sam, if this was reversed, they'd be mad. So it was absolutely a dirty play. Yes, I don't think he meant to hurt Duncan Robinson, but he knew what he was doing. Jaylen Brown's not an idiot. Right?
How do you know
Duncan
How do you
Robinson's
know
arm
he
was
knew what he
there.
was doing?
What do you mean?
I tossed it up so you could be like, he said he knew what he was doing.
I said that. I just said that. I just referenced the quote. Like he I know. I was like, what are you talking about, brother? I just said that.
Please
yeah,
shame
no.
me in the comments.
He admitted he knew what he was doing. He admitted it. He said, "I bet he won't do it again," which is like, yeah, I knew what I was doing. I was telling him not to do it again. So Celtics fans, listen, Celtics fans can like it all they want. They can like the fire that it brought. They can like that he was teaching him a lesson. But if you could like what he did and then also say it wasn't a dirty play, you're just delusional. You can be both, but just accept both. Don't say it wasn't a dirty play. Bam was more dirty. It wasn't. Bam gave him a little extra, yes, but Bam started as a basketball move. Never in a million years or at any point was Jaylen Brown's flinging Duncan Robinson a basketball move. The play was dead. It was done. He just like, see ya. So, yes, it was a dirty play. You can believe that you liked what he did, but also if you believe you like what he did, then believe that you liked a dirty play because it was. It just objectively was. I'm sorry. And this isn't me bashing Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't hate Jaylen Brown because of it. Like you said, it's not like he's a serial dirty player, but it was a dirty play. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the best thing of this is people getting mad that Jaylen's under fire. They're like, I can't believe they're getting mad at him. As if they think that this was like the time Marcus Smart dove for a loose ball and it hurt Curry. And then Steve Kerr cried about it in the post-game conference, saying like, that's not a basketball play, blah, 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 because he dove and tried to get the loose ball. This is not that. This is closer to Kelly Olynyk and Kevin Love. It's basically that. It's not the other. So Miami is correct to cry, sadly. And I hate the crying. I hate crying from everybody. But Celtics fans, we all have no place to cry today. This is not our day to cry.
No.
So please stop crying.
And they won the game.
Shout out.
So.
And they won the game. So shout out to Oliver Fox, who did a write-up on this for Celtics blog. That poor man has just been under fire today. Personal attacks in the comments. I went to read the comments because I was kind of curious.
Was it personal?
Yeah, they were like, I hate you. Like, paraphrased, I hate you. But anyways, I went to look because I wanted to see what the intelligent members of the fan base had to say. Usually people that are interested in reading up on things are the more, level-headed of the bunch rather than just going on Twitter and telling you how they feel. And it was a lot of mean, but there were also 17 people looking at the discussion when I went to look. So it is a hot topic. But we as a fan base and the Celtics as a team are not the victims of this. Please do not play the victim, because they're not. If you don't really care about it, it's one thing. I personally think what Jaylen had to say after the game was kind of funny. He was like, if you don't want to play defense, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, if you actually played legitimate defense, this would not have happened to you, Duncan Robinson. It doesn't justify him like arm dragging him, but respect it. What they should have did is, if Duncan Robinson didn't go up there and cry, and he's kind of justified to cry, power rankings at the top. If he was just like, yeah, Jaylen tried to rip my left arm out of its socket because he can't go left, so he was jealous, would have been fine. Viral quote, probably squashes it. And then Jaylen could have been like, yeah, I've been using my left arm to sweep you guys this season on the broom, baby.
Very funny. It is what it is. I think it was a dirty play. I think you agree that it was a dirty play. I think it's just...
Yeah, I didn't like throw my fist up like, yes. I was just like, oh, man.
Probably shouldn't do that. I mean,
not for nothing,
I don't know.
It also resulted in like a 5-0 Heat run like this because they turned the ball over because of the flagrant, got 2 free throws, and then made a 3 on that possession. So even just from a pure, I don't really care about the people involved, but from a Celtics need to win standpoint, terrible.
Yeah, not great. Not great. I don't get how you can watch that play even in real time and just think Jaylen Brown did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like that's wild to me. Like it is so clearly like he flung the shit out of him into the
Just
ground.
To clarify,
what are you watching?
I'm thinking about it now. I do not think in the I don't care about the people involved as long as the Celtics win method. So please don't go in the comments and be like, Sam said he doesn't care about the players. It's not what I said.
I didn't even pick
But I'm saying that. Even if you break it down to the minimal X's and O's, bad.
Yeah, not great. Moving on to actual basketball talk rather than this. We didn't talk about the Porzingis thing, actually. I guess we could say it. I thought it was less bad. I mentioned it. We don't have to go too in detail on it. It's just... did you think Porzingis was dirty? I didn't think the Bam thing was intentionally dirty. I think it ended up being like, oh, what are you doing? But I think
think the Celtics get hurt an awful lot underneath the basket, Porzingis in particular, when they play against Bam. Last time rolled his ankle on Bam. This time gets hit in the back with a Bam play. And then he gets hit in the balls too. Like, not the greatest Porzingis versus Bam look. If you want to be like, maybe one of these guys might be a dirty player.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying Bam's a dirty player. But other people are saying that.
Which I also think is green glasses.
I don't know. There are people that aren't even wearing green glasses that are saying that. They might be wearing orange and blue glasses.
I will also say Bam does set a healthy amount of we'll say eyebrow raising screens. That can be the term
he set screens like a little kid that just had a bunch of sugar. Can't sit still.
He set screens like Henry.
Right.
He set screens like
Henry.
That he does. Anyways.
The NFL season is wrapping up, and there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Now, the app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Let's move on to actual basketball talk, like I mentioned before we went down the rabbit hole. Are the Celtics a good crunch time team? Now, Sam, you put this together, so I'll let you do the lead-in if you'd like.
All right. So yesterday, Jack and I loaded up the old StreamYard, came on here and had a big circle jerk after the Celtics beat a Heat team without Jimmy Butler and Josh Richardson and Terry Rozier being taken out of the game.
Before you even get into it, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I did. I think it is lame for Heat fans to go on this whole like high horse of, we're scrappy. We don't have talent, but we're scrappy. And then also, and I'm not saying they were doing this, but then also play the thing of, well, we didn't have these guys. That's your whole like thing. Your whole thing is that, we're the underdog Heat. We're the scrappy Heat. So then for you to like, to go from, we're the scrappy underdog team, we don't need anything, to, oh, well, we didn't have these guys. Pick one. You know, I obviously I know the difference. Obviously, I know injuries are a real thing, and not
Yeah.
having Jimmy, Terry, and Josh Richardson is a real thing. But pick one. that's what I say.
I thought you were just going to be like Celtics didn't have Tatum in Game 7, pretty much.
That is also true.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry I cut you off. My bad.
So, anyways, they beat this Heat team, which yesterday I came on here and addressed that they were shorthanded and said they were supposed to hive mind. So I'm not really worried about that. And they won a game that didn't feel like they were going to win at the end. The way we've seen the Celtics play basketball in the past, they've been poor to close games. They haven't been great when the momentum is against them at the end of the fourth quarter. They haven't been able to stop it. Yesterday, they weren't able to put the ball in the basket. Despite that, they still managed to get stops. They remained focused, and they out-hustled the Heat culture Heat, wearing the Heat culture uniforms on the Heat culture court with the Heat culture paint that says how gritty they are. They did a great job of closing the game yesterday. So, Action Network's Matt Moore went on to Twitter yesterday and tweeted about this win. He said, Boston is 17-8 in clutch time games within 5 points in the final minutes this season. The third best winning percentage in clutch time. I think somebody in the replies said it was 18-8 now, so yesterday's might not have been taken into account. Regardless,
yes.
They're pretty good. He said, those are the facts. It does not feel like it. Sam Quinn of CBS Sports quote tweeted this and said, I feel like this near Celtics collapse is going to slip through the cracks. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Miami was too injured to actually finish the win, but man, didn't look great. So, Celtics are under fire for winning a game that was close, despite not being good at winning close games. I do agree. It does not feel like they are. And the feeling, I think, comes from what you've been taught to know from experience. Because in years past, they have not been very good at them. Even with whatever the record showed last year, like zero faith in them to win a close game. Just the facts. Like, do not believe in them. Now, with adding Porzingis in here, he gives them an extra layer of offense they can go to late in the game. They didn't do a great job of it yesterday. He wasn't getting the ball very deep in the paint. But even though he wasn't able to be a factor too much down the stretch, Tatum, off the top of my head, didn't do a whole lot down the stretch either, and they relied on Jaylen to do it. Without the ball going in the basket, they buckled down and actually played defense. And the stops were the biggest concern for me in crunch time. The offense is a whole other thing, which I think we can both agree still isn't where it needs to be at times.
It was better, though. It was better yesterday.
And it was better.
Absolutely.
But them not being able to get stops is the thing that wholeheartedly has concerned me watching them play in the clutch forever. So yesterday was just not the game to pick on the Celtics, I feel.
Yeah. So, listen, heading into crunch time, it was 99-94. They won by 4. They did not blow a lead in crunch time. They did not collapse. They did not all this stuff. Did they squander a bit of a lead in the fourth quarter? Yes, but a part of that was the Heat got flagrant free throws and then they hit a 3 on the next possession. So that was a 5-point swing off a flagrant foul, which I'm not saying that shouldn't be taken into account. It absolutely should be. That was bad time for that. But I think that counts. Now, also on top of that, Sam, you're a big eye test guy. I'm a big stats guy. It's kind of the dichotomy we have on this podcast. I 100% agree with you. And I have the stats to back up the eye test this time. So we're
back.
So crunch time in that Heat game. I looked at clutch time, which is 5 minutes in a game that was at one point at least 5 points or less margin. Celtics shot 3 for 6 and 1 for 3 with 2 assists on their 3 made baskets. Pretty good. The Heat shot 2 of 7, 1 of 3 with 0 assists on their 2 made baskets. Pretty good defense in the last 5 minutes of a game. Celtics got technically outscored by 1 in that last 5 minutes. That said, I'm going to point to it again. The 2 shots Miami made, or the couple shots Miami made, whatever, tough shots. Like Miami was objectively making tough shots in those last moments. I think one was a Tyler Hero pull from like 30 feet and he just drained it.
It was. Yeah.
So that goes to my previous point from a couple pods ago. Shit happens, right? Big time players make big time shots, and these players in the NBA for a reason. Like they make shots. That's what they do. And so I agree. I think the Celtics played pretty well in that Heat game. You look at the final 5 minutes of this game. Like I said, heading into the final 5 minutes, it was 99-94. Excuse me. Tatum immediately puts them up 101-94. With 7 minutes left. Also, I don't know where those clutch time shots came from. I don't know if they changed it because there were a lot more than 2 shots made for each teams in the final 5 minutes. So maybe that's false, but
maybe
regardless,
the game wasn't within 5 points.
Yeah, true. Okay, yeah. So by the time it was, then they buckled down. Regardless, it was good end of game defense. Tatum scored a floater to put him up by 7. Then Hero immediately matched it with a jumper to bring it back to 5. Adebayo made a fadeaway. Then Brown hit a 3. Then Hero hit the big 3. And then Brown hit a layup on a great pass by Tatum for his 9th assist of the game, which, again, to my point of the offense has been getting better. This is an example of it. And this is how Tatum helped take over the game. This was with 2 minutes 43 left. Tatum gets the ball after running a pick and roll with Derek White. Gets inside, finds Jaylen in the paint. Good cut by Jaylen. Good find by Jason Tatum to draw 2 and get the defender open. And that put them up by 5 again. And then Tatum got a block. Horford got the rebound. And then that was when Jaylen turned it over. And then Hero hit the big 3 after the missed 3 and the rebound. And then after that, the Heat made one more shot in the last minute 30 of the game, right? Porzingis got to the line, got a couple free throws. Tatum got a couple free throws. And then Hero hit a driving layup with 10 seconds left. So the Celtics realistically won this game by 6, and they just let Hero take that shot because it didn't matter anymore, right? I think the quote collapse happened earlier in the fourth quarter a little bit, and then they buckled down. So I don't consider that this collapse should be noted. I think it's the Heat played really well for a time period, and the Celtics had a couple fumbles, and then they locked in. That's how I viewed it, at least, and I think you viewed it a similar way.
Yeah, I think they did a good job at stopping the avalanche before it happened. Years passed. I mean, just like we'll take a look at Game 6 of the conference finals last year, where they were in the same building. They were up 10 points with 4+ to go, and they probably should have lost if Derek White doesn't make the miracle putback. That's the type of thing we were all used to. Instead, Miami's pushing, and yes, they didn't have Jimmy. They were without Terry Rozier. They were without Josh Richardson. 3 players that are all quality. And they still managed to win a game when things weren't going exactly the way they were supposed to. And they actually had to face some adversity. They did that by hustling, playing defense, and even making the patient plays on offense. The Tatum pass that you pulled up was a great example of that. The offense that they ran to get that pass, the Tatum catch to draw the double was maybe Tatum doesn't have to have the ball every single time the game's close play. It was Derek White with Tatum as the screener, and off the roll, he drew the double, and Jaylen cut. It was the exact opposite of everything we've grown to know about the Celtics, which is 1, Tatum does everything. 2, they shoot a zillion threes no matter what. And 3, they're not great late in the game. Instead, Tatum was not the guy with the ball at first. They did not shoot a 3. In fact, Jaylen cut away from the 3-point line to get to the basket. It was perfect.
I think the Celtics offense, while not perfect, obviously, because there were some turnovers, there were some iffy plays. I think the Celtics offense in the final 5 minutes of the game was much, much, much better than it has been in recent years, especially. They only took 5 shots, so let's watch them, right? Let's take a look at how they did. Here's one. Jason Tatum gets Duncan Robinson. There was a lot of matchup attacking here. Tatum gets in the paint. Call that what you want. Maybe a little off balance. Maybe not perfect. He had Duncan Robinson on him. He shot it over. He made it. That's Tatum on a mismatch. Again, get Tatum on a mismatch. They're doing this all game. Get him on Hero. Draw 2 defenders. Kick it to Brown. Wide open 3. Just doesn't go in. Objectively a good shot, right? Wide open 3. Good offense from the Celtics so far. Good job from Tatum. We saw this play. Tatum gets the ball to Jaylen Brown on the cut. Open shot. Another one. JB. Call it what you want. Open 3. Went in. Doesn't matter. Good shot by the Celtics. Derek White, Jason Tatum pick and roll. Let's watch again. Oh, was this the JB cut? This was the JB cut.
This was the JB cut.
JB cut.
But this is just, we saw a play, I think, I don't remember what game it was. Holiday did not cut off the 3-point line for an open layup in one of these games, and it was a turnover because somebody made a pass to where he should have been. Oh,
fine shot by Tatum.
replay
We
this.
talked about
Replay
We
this.
talked
This was
about
huge, and
yes.
I texted you about this.
I think this was a good shot.
Tatum gets the ball late in the shot clock and does not do a super cool three. It ruled.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he dribbles, gets triple teamed, and manages to make something out of it. And you may say, Sam, what do you mean? He took a very difficult step through flip layup that didn't even hit the rim. Well, one, I like this shot better than a super cool three. Here's why. The rebound is not going to be a long rebound, which could lead to a fast break. You may also say, Sam, missed layups often lead to a fast break. Well, the great thing about this missed layup is it didn't hit the rim, which I don't think was on purpose, but nonetheless, it was pretty sick because it was a shot clock violation and Miami couldn't get out and run.
I will also say, if you want to be really, really picky, you could say, oh, wish they got into the action faster, because if they did get into the action faster, Tatum could have found Derek White for 3. Regardless, he got a layup, right? Like, as contested or whatever this was, like, that's a shot Tatum will make 8 times out of 10, in my opinion. He just smoked it. All offense has been pretty good so far. Tatum, again, on a mismatch. They've been finding this all time. Finds Jaylen Brown for a corner 3. Maybe we don't love that shot, but they got the rebound, so it didn't matter. And credit to Tatum. This was a great clutch game for Tatum. And then shout out to Joe Mazzulla for sprinting across the court. Got him out. Good clutch time offense. I really don't have a problem with it. And I'm a guy who preaches what Joe Mazzulla does all the time. Process. The process in this game, phenomenal. A+. Great job, Celtics. So, got the win. I know we were happy about it, and I know we were just talking about it because other people were iffy. Good win. Objectively a good win. They locked in. They played well when it mattered. We don't have to go through and watch all the defensive possessions, but it was fine defense too. They played pretty good defense too. It was just
Their rotations were impressive the entire game. They did a great job recovering when somebody got beat, when Miami put them in a tough spot through screening or whatever they may have done. And I just composed, which is a championship quality, characteristic, whatever you want to call it. This team needs more composure consistently. It's maybe one of the things I get upset about when they don't play well against bad teams, because I think they're not staying composed. Seeing them stay composed in a game like yesterday was good. I'm happy about it. Good job, Celtics.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next thing we got is sort of a follow-up to our last podcast. Jaden Springer responded or was asked about Daryl Morey's comments that he's not ready to contribute on a playoff level team.
Correct.
This is via Adam Himmelsbach. Did he tweet it out, I assume?
He did tweet it.
Quote, I ain't really worried about that too much. I'm here now. Which, yeah. Hell yeah, Jaden Springer. That's exactly how you should feel.
That's right. You're with the people that believed in you. That's why Brad Stevens traded for him. That's why Brad Stevens said something in the press conference rather than saying nothing. He went out and said, I think Jaden Springer can be a playoff type player if they need him to be. He said his defense allows him to be able to be competitive on the floor in a big time moment like that, which is a huge get for the Celtics because they need that. It's not perfect. He's probably not going to jump right in the rotation and be a mainstay, but he's somebody that they see potential with, and that's great. And Brad decided he's worth a second-round pick. Not to mention the fact that the former 76ers assistants believe in him. They worked with him. They're like, this guy rules. Go get him.
Yeah. And there's not really much else to say. It's just like good for Jaden Springer. He's ready. I'm excited to see him on the floor. I'm still assuming it'll probably be post All-Star break. But that said, coming out of the All-Star break, I'm double checking my thought process because I don't exactly remember. But coming out of the All-Star break, they do have the Bulls. So maybe get them a little bit run in that one.
Bulls
smoke them.
Ass.
Correct.
But not as ass as they once were. But still ass.
Still ass. All right. Let's jump on over to the next thing. Our post-trade deadline East power rankings, or East threat rankings, I should say. So there were plenty of moves at the deadline. The Pacers they got Siakam before it, but they got Doug McDermott. The Knicks loaded up. They got Bogdanovich, obviously got OG. They got Alec Burks. The Bucks got Pat Bev. The Sixers got Buddy Hield. Celtics got Xavier Tillman and Jaden Springer. They added some deep bench pieces. But it feels like every team in the East, outside of the Cavs, I should say, made a big move at the deadline. And maybe the Cavs didn't because they are probably the hottest team in the league right now.
They sure are.
But
they've got momentum behind them after some Mickey Mouse.
That they do. They've been playing well. Credit to them. However, post trade deadline, let's power rank our individual threats in the East to the Celtics, because I think it's pretty clear at this point the Celtics are the best team in the East, probably the NBA, but at the very least of the East, they have a 5-game cushion on the rest of the Eastern Conference right now. 5 games up on the Cavs, 7 games up on the Bucks, 8 games up on the Knicks, 9.5 games up on the Sixers. That happened really fast.
It
That
did
happened
happen fast. That's what I
so
was literally about to say. I was like, wow, like they were like pushing back against Milwaukee, like 2 games, 1.5 games, 2 games, 1.5 games. Then all of a sudden it's 7.
Yep.
Sick.
9.5 on the Sixers, which I know the Embiid thing obviously plays a
Sixers are
part,
tough.
but like that is crazy. So, yes, let's power rank our top. Let's do top 5 threats in the East for each of us in terms of this team could beat the Celtics in a playoff series. Now, obviously, if your number 1 threat you still don't think could beat them in a playoff series, it makes sense because they're the best team in the East. But in terms of, I
Most
wouldn't want to
likely
see
to
this
beat the
team.
Celtics
Yeah,
in a playoff series.
wouldn't want to play them in a playoff series from a Celtics perspective. So, who's your number 1, Sam?
Milwaukee, still. I know they look terrible. They still have quality talent. They still have quality players that could be a part of a good defense. Having Giannis and Brook Lopez is never going to be an easy front court to play against. And it'll make things more difficult for the Celtics if they go to the rim. We've seen the Celtics have plenty of instances where they get to the rim and then miss. Milwaukee's a team where they could have that happen to them against. And that sucks. And they usually play terrible when that's the case. So that's a reason I'm afraid of Milwaukee. Dame being a good crunch time player is another reason to be afraid of Milwaukee. We just did probably 15 minutes on our concerns about the Celtics playing down the stretch. While they're not overwhelmingly present right now, they have had a bad history of being good closers. Dame being in Milwaukee will make it harder for them to close out games. It won't be fun to watch.
That said, I do think Dame being in Milwaukee also makes it easier for. We just watched the Celtics get Jason Tatum on Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson for an entire 5 minutes. That does give them a weak link to attack. So I do think there's some give and take. That said, I 100% agree with you. I still have the Bucks number 1 in the potential East threat power rankings for the Celtics. They have Giannis. Period. That is effectively what it is. He's
Two-time
the
MVP.
best. He's the best player in the Eastern Conference right now with Embiid out, 100%. And I love Jason Tatum. I think he's up there. Giannis is Giannis. He's won a title. He gets that respect. The Bucks are the Bucks. They've been there. That's where I'm putting them. So they're my number 1.
They should be there.
My number 2, New York Knicks. I think the Knicks deserve to be there. I think they have the superstar. I think they have some of the best defensive pieces in the league to guard the Jays. Got the hiccups. OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and now Dante DiVincenzo as well, who's a solid defender. I think they got some of those best pieces. I think they thrive in an area the Celtics have struggled with in the past, which is offensive rebounding. They got Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, who are elite offensive rebounders. I think they play basketball that is built for the playoffs in terms of gritty defense, buckling down, playing physical. And they have what I would believe is a top 15 player in the NBA right now in Jaylen Brunson, who's just nasty. He's going to give him problems. He gives everybody problems. And so they're my number 2. They're hot. Once they get healthy, they're going to be great. I got the Knicks at 2.
I'll talk about the Knicks. I have the Knicks at 3.
Okay.
I'll talk about the positive things first. I think Jalen Brunson's really good. I do. I think he's, like Dame Lillard, a good closer in games, which could make things difficult on the Celtics. I like Hartenstein a lot. I think he's a dog. He's really somebody that, watching him play in the playoffs last year and also in games against the Celtics, can be a real irritant and also be a game changer for the Knicks. So he's a great presence. If Mitchell Robinson comes back and is the same, he'll be a good presence for them as well. We saw the offensive rebounds be a bit of a factor on opening night. Celtics still won. But with all of that being said, the defense in the Knicks front court / wing area is also great. It's great. They have good defenders. They are well equipped to guard the Jays. You're absolutely right. But here's where it comes in, and you knew I was going to go here. When you get to play against Julius Randle in a playoff series, doesn't it all get a little bit easier now, doesn't it? Because you have somebody out there that the team has to use as a secondary scoring option. Somebody that has shown that he can be viable in that, but also looks like he's learning to play basketball on the fly every time he plays, turns the ball over a lot, and probably has too much responsibility. If you're the Celtics, you can really commit to slowing down Brunson. You are well equipped with your own stoppers in Derek White
Mhm.
and Drew Holiday to take over, to be pains in his ass, and you have great length to guard the paint. If I'm the Celtics, I'm living with Julius Randle taking perimeter shots. And if he gets inside, you have Horford and Porzingis and also Tatum. They're waiting for him.
And to your credit, the Celtics did that earlier this season. You know what they did? They put Drew Holiday on him, and
Yeah.
he was lost. And so
Yeah,
I
that's another
can agree
great
with that.
aspect of this is Drew Holiday has the quick hands, the defensive skills that will make
Mhm.
things difficult on a Randall that's playing against somebody who he doesn't typically see. He sees bigger guys that aren't as quick with their hands, and because of that, he's not going to be as much of in the torture chamber, but with Drew Holiday, he will be.
Mhm.
And lastly, I don't know. It's tough for me to commit to thinking the Knicks are good, not because of the Knicks, but because I've seen the Celtics beat them every single time this season, and they will play again, and we'll get to see them actually play against the group that the Knicks will have in the playoffs because we have not seen that yet.
Mhm.
But as of now, I just can't get behind it because I'm like, well, they just beat them every single time.
Sure. I get that. I do.
It's almost like Philadelphia in the sense, like, even when the Sixers are really good, you just know you're going to beat them.
Sure. Yeah, I got you. I understand. Yeah, I
But
don't know. I view it. I think the Knicks are a team that is built for the playoffs, and so I
sure,
think they'll be. And to be clear, nobody on this list I think should be able to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series, and I think you feel the same. It's just in order of give them trouble.
speaking of order, my second pick, because the Knicks were
Mm.
3, Miami Heat.
Mm.
I have PTSD. I mean, the Heat have done it twice now in the last 3 seasons in the playoffs.
Respect to the Heat. This
2020,
is respect.
2023, they have beaten the Celtics with this core members, right? I guess 2020 was a bit different, but Tatum and Brown were still there.
Same thing.
And the Spoelstra hive mind is a thing. I don't really want to deal with that. Even watching yesterday's game, and the reason why it felt like such a decent win was because they were still competitive with the personnel that they had because they were just doing crazy shit. They were full court pressing the Celtics, and it kind of worked. It took the Celtics a while to get into their offense. Like, in a playoff game, that can muck you up and make you have to rush, which I think when the Celtics rush, they're ass. That's why I did the whole 2-for-1 thing, because when they have that situation, they're rushing and they look bad and everyone hates it. Turns out it's not true, but the percentages would tell you they still aren't as efficient, which is why you don't want to see them rush when they don't have to or they're not benefiting from it.
Mhm.
So Miami is just a team. It's always there. They have Jimmy, who cares about the playoffs. It does not care about the regular season. They were in a very similar spot last year around this time. They didn't make any real trades. They were middling. They were losing games. They lost a really bad game last year off the top of my head to Charlotte. They blew a huge lead and Charlotte was ass. Like, they had all of the same, like, they might be dead. And then the playoffs showed up and, oh boy.
Mm-hmm. You know, I agree 100%. And to be perfectly clear, like I said, this isn't a what's it called? This isn't a, screw the Heat. This is a respect the Heat. Like, the Heat are the Heat. They're the Heat for a reason. Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. I'll say it. I'll put it out there. He's the best coach in the NBA. They're phenomenal. Jimmy Butler's got that dog in him. He's got that mindset. That's what he does. They're a damn good defensive team. Their role players have consistently stepped up in the playoffs. You don't want to see the Heat in the postseason. That is it, period. Yes. So they're my number 3 for what it's worth behind the Knicks. My 4 is the Indiana Pacers. I don't want to see the Pacers in a playoff series. Not because I don't think not that I think they'll beat the Celtics, because I think they will exhaust the Celtics. I think playing the Pacers in a playoff series is going to be exhausting because they're going to run. You think they run in the regular season? Imagine those motherfuckers when it matters. They are going to sprint. They are going to wear you down. They are going to get a ton of offensive rebounds because they're constantly making your defense move. It'd be a pain in the ass. It'd be the probably likely first, maybe second round series based on who wins. It's going to be exhausting. And by the time you get to the final, and even if it's a 4-game series, even if the Celtics sweep them, you're going to be tired because you're going to be sprinting for 48 minutes every single time. Don't want to see them. Don't think they beat the Celtics. This is not disrespect to the Cavs, who I think are a better team than the Pacers. I just think the Celtics should be able to beat them both, and they'd be more tired after playing the Pacers than the Cavs.
I'm gonna tail you on this one. I agree. I think the Pacers are a threat, and I probably think they're more of a threat than you do. solely because of the reason I don't believe in the Knicks is they actually have beat the Celtics this year. Nobody beats the Celtics this year, and they've done it twice. They beat them in a real game that mattered in the regular in the in-season tournament quarterfinals. They beat the Celtics, knocked them out of it, and the Celtics were trying. The Pacers just won. They have guys that have chip on their shoulder. Nesmith, after being traded from the Celtics, he always plays hard. The fan base here has started to turn on him and does not like him anymore. And Halliburton is an all-NBA talent. He's a smart player. He's not a bad eye test guy either. Like, he's not doing dumb shit out there. And I really think their team is a pain in the ass to play against. I do not want to see it. I would prefer not to play the Pacers. And if the Celtics do play the Pacers, they're going to have to win by really leaning on the defense. And they're going to have to slow down one of the league's top offenses. The offense angle on the Celtics will be a little easier because the Pacers don't play any defense, but you have to be careful not to play their game. I think that's one of the reasons why they have managed to lose a few games. I mean, they did beat them by 1 million at the beginning of the season, but Halliburton didn't play.
Yeah, I agree. Who's your 4 or 5?
Pacers are my 4. We'll put the Cavs at 5.
Agree.
Haven't seen the Celtics play the Cavs since mid-December. That was when Darius Garland got hurt in the second game. So he did play the entire first game. He was just coming off whatever injury he started the season with, though. So he wasn't exactly
March 5th.
Firing on all cylinders. So we'll see that March 5th, which is a Tuesday.
That it is.
Don't worry about it. Just happened to know the day of the week because I scheduled the March 7th doctor's appointment because I was supposed to have one tomorrow, but the snow.
Got it.
I had to reschedule. Yeah. So anyways, I have not seen the Cavs beat up on the Celtics. I think they have a talented front court. They've got Mobley. They have Jared Allen. And those guys could be difference makers against somebody like Porzingis, who I kind of feel is the second most important guy on this team behind Tatum. And it could be a problem. Not to mention Donovan Mitchell's a real pain in the ass against the Celtics. He always seems to show up and play well against them. It's tough. It's a pick your poison thing. I don't know what to think of them just yet because it's been a while since these two teams have played, and we haven't seen the Celtics play them since they got hot. So there's another. I need to see it in front of me before I have a real strong opinion.
Yeah, my thing for that one. Yes, the Cavs are good. However, they didn't win the playoffs last year, and it's a very different team. They have a lot more spacing now. Max Strus can shoot the hell out of the ball. George Niang is a good shooter. Sam Merrill's been on fire this year from 3. However, unlike the Knicks, who have Jalen Brunson, but it's less of an issue. They don't have a A-tier superstar or S-tier superstar like the Bucks. They don't have an exhausting play style like the Pacers. They don't have the defensive integrity of the Knicks starting lineup, and they don't have
the witchcraft
being the Heat. The Cavs have 2 players and potentially 3 players every single night that the Celtics can just fucking attack on offense. Donovan Mitchell, not a good defender. He's fine. He tries, but he's
Garland.
Darius Garland, same thing. Max Strus, same thing. They try. They're fine. But with a team like the Celtics, who have Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis, Jason Tatum, and who the fuck am I forgetting in the starting lineup?
Drew
Holiday. And Al Horford off the bench. They have 5 guys. 6.
They have a team where you can attack everybody. That you have Drew Holiday. That's how good they are.
Exactly. They can attack anybody, and that's how they've played offense all year. And that'll tenfold expand in the playoffs when matchup hunting is important. So I don't think the Cavs have the defensive personnel to keep up with the Celtics. The Pacers definitely don't either, but at least they have the offense. And not that the Cavs aren't a good offense. The Pacers have the offensive style to make them work and exhaust them and force the Celtics into playing their game. I don't know. The Cavs, we'll see March 5th, but I'm hesitant to put them any higher than 5th. So any other teams on the radar?
Since they got hot.
Any other teams even on the radar outside of those 5?
Not really. I mean, if Embiid comes back, you have to think about Philly, but
until then,
same thing as the Knicks. They just always lose. So do I really have any fear in them? No. I mean, if they're going to do it, it was going to be last year. It felt like.
Agree. All right, let's head on over to the email. See what y'all have to say there. I got a couple from RJ, but before that, we're going to spin the Incognito wheel. And spoiler alert, we have a winner already. Shout out to Johnny Barnett, the only entrant of Incognito this year, pod, I should say. Johnny, you will be winning some popcorn. Email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. We'll hook you up with a $5 Incognito gift card. And again, comment what's popping on this podcast for a chance to win a spot on the wheel, or for a chance to win Incognito popcorn in a spot on the wheel for next episode. Comment what's popping. Let's go on over to the email. RJ, what's poppin'? Wheel of NBA franchises. Hey guys, thank you for giving me a dumb idea to kick around. Who should get a franchise? NBA franchise. First off, hearing Pittsburgh was a franchise reminded me of Dr. Day's film, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, about Pittsburgh pythons and the astrologer that helped turn the team around. Surprisingly, it didn't win an Oscar. As potential locations, here's some ideas and my thoughts on why they might work or might not work. Vancouver, Montreal, or any city other than Edmonton or Calgary. Canadian taxation puts a strain on players' earnings, both national and provincial. Provincial. Of the more populated provinces, Alberta and Saskatchewan have the lowest overall rates, but Saskatchewan is less energetic than Utah. Seattle would be the more likely choice. Sorry, Vancouver. I just think the NBA wants to get into the Canada market more. That would be smart. So, St. Louis, Kansas City, Louisville, or Cincinnati won't get it because the NBA thinks there aren't enough fans to support them. Teams in Indiana, Memphis, Chicago, and Oklahoma City are, quote, nearby. Morgan Freeman voice, they are not, in fact, nearby. Except for Louisville, all three cities have history with the NBA, and I think they could support franchises. Personal reason for not Louisville, I don't want to encourage Rick Pitino to think he has a place in the NBA.
Oof. Hate despise.
San Diego, why not? The Lakers and Clippers will bitch too much about the nearby competition for fans. Why should they? To piss off the LA teams. Mexico City, similar problem to the Canadian expansion taxes. But if that doesn't present an obstacle, they seem to have the fan base for it. You would see more fans running 4 7-game road trips through Memphis, OKC, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, and Mexico City. True. Pittsburgh, the Steel City does have an active fan base and would be natural geographic rivals with the Cavs and Sixers. Downside, Pittsburgh Pythons was a really cool name. I'd go with Pittsburgh Leopards to tie into the love of gold and black the people have for their sports teams.
Leopards isn't a bad. We got to think of
Pittsburgh
games. I feel like this is a challenge.
Yeah, I don't know.
You call them the Pittsburgh Press.
And
like
then
defense.
What's the logo? Yeah, but what's the logo?
Just like a hardworking, like Pittsburgh guy, like with a hat, hard hat.
I guess, yeah.
They would love that.
I don't hate it. That they would. Yeah, thanks for the thoughts, RJ. I agree. I just think Canada might get one eventually because Canada market, man. They want that more. And Mexico is a big one too.
I don't hate that. I think Vancouver's the most interesting alternate one we've come up with compared to Vegas and Seattle. Even though Vegas has shown out for the Knights, so I can't even be like, I don't think they have people there to actually care about the teams. It's just because they legitimately care about the hockey team. So
100%. I agree. Let's go to the next email. RJ, quote, what's poppin'? What is a, quote, bad night for JT with threes? Morning, guys. No trade chatter in this email. I'll wait for the dust to settle. On the Thursday morning podcast, you discussed Tatum having good and bad nights with the threes, and I thought, how do we define those? I mean, I'm the captain of I hate his dribble threes team, but let's be fair and put some guardrails on this idea. To start, let's define good, average, and bad long-distance shooting for him. For his career through the Atlanta game, JT is shooting 37% and 36% for the current season on threes. 36% for the current season on three. Sorry. Given that he shoots on average between 6 and 8 3-pointers a game, we'll say that anything between 333, 2 for 6, and 375 is an average night result. Below 33 is a bad night, and 38% or higher is a good night. Okay. That breaks down this year's as follows. Good nights, 22 of them, 18 and 4. Average nights, 6, 5 and 1. Bad nights, 20, 14 and 6. Did not play, 3, 2 and 1. So an 82% winning percentage if JT is average or better, 70% if he's having a bad night. To put it into a season-long perspective, bad night Jason for the whole year means the Celtics are only 2 games ahead of the Cavs, but still first in the East. Another element to look at is 3-point attempts. Again, setting the average at 6 to 8 threes per game, this team's results broken down in the volume of shots looks like this. 9+ 3-point attempts, 25 games, 22 and 3, disaster for Sam. 6 to 8 3-point attempt nights, 16, 12 and 4. 0 to 5 3-point attempt nights, 3 and 4, did not play 2 and 1. I'm very surprised by the correlation between volume and victories. I guess I should learn to love JT launching more threes. Be well, RJ. Sam, thoughts?
I think the sweet spot is 6 to 8. I think 22 and 3 is just like the team's nasty and they just win a lot of games. Like if he's just taking the
threes a lot though. That is so weird. Interesting.
if he's shooting in that range of attempts more consistently, the more games you play as a member of this Celtics team, you are going to win games. Like, if Sam played on the Celtics for 25 games, you could very easily get a 22-3 record. Just how good they've been.
I will
And
say,
maybe
yes.
I'll say this: a reason why, as the attempts get lower, the record also worsens, could be because things become more difficult against the better teams, and he has to. Well, no, he takes more threes against bad teams because it's easier for him to try and create shots.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I will also say, to Tatum's credit, when he takes 10 or more threes, in terms of his percentage, he's only shot below 36% in 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So when he takes 10 or more, the 18 times it's happened, 14 of them he shot 36% or better. That's pretty good for high volume threes. Like on high volume 3 nights, like he this season has shot pretty good when he takes 10 or more. The issue is, or not the issue, but like the weird thing is when he takes 8 or 9 off a cliff. So like it feels like that's his cutoff. Weirdly enough, maybe you think it's too high a cutoff, which is fair. But like when he hits 10 or more, yeah. When he hits 10 or more, it is because he is making a lot of threes, usually, for the most part, overwhelmingly for the most part, right? There's like 4 instances where it's just been too much, right? Whatever. That's whatever. 8 to 9 are having a bad night, cut it off. And you saw the example against the Wizards and against the Heat. He took a lot in the first half, realized he didn't have it, drove. Good.
Respect.
And that's where the sweet spot of having a bad night is. And then low volume is just a mix of good and bad nights. He cuts it off. So for all of the talk we've had of bad Tatum 3 nights, like the stats overwhelmingly say he usually cuts it off around 8 when he's not hot, and overwhelmingly for the most part 14 versus 4. If he takes a lot, it's because he's having a good shooting night. So when you look at it that way, and I'm not disagreeing with your eye test, I've seen the same thing. I've agreed with you that there have been nights where it was bad, but like if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, like RJ says, like he's actually taking them at an okay rate in terms of hot versus not and knowing when to stop.
Sure.
Also curious, I'm going to look it up quick and then we can move on from this email. I feel like he takes a lot more threes in the first half this season.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to look it up.
I don't have like a guess.
I just, because I think
I don't think you're wrong or right. Like, I just don't know what I think about that.
I know. I think I do feel like he takes a lot more in the first half, realizes if he's hot or not, and then slows it down versus continues accordingly.
We've said in the past that we would prefer to see the opposite, where it's like, get yourself going first, go to the cup, get confident, then you can start doing that.
I agree to a degree.
I see
but
the value in both ways.
Yeah, I do think there is a little both. He takes 4.8 in the first half this year per game, and then in the second half, it dips to 3.6, and he's shooting 36% in both halves. So it's just he takes a little less. So good for Tatum, I guess. Sure. I don't know. I will say this was a good email. Thank you, RJ. This is a bit eye-opening in terms of the attempts and stuff. And then we did have another email, but I'm not going to put it on the screen because I don't want to dox anybody. Ian emailed us with his email for Incognito from last week, but he did also say, as far as this email, don't hate on St. Louis getting an expansion team. It's a good way. I need a good way to get to Celtics games coming to me that doesn't involve a 5-hour drive to Memphis, Chicago, Indiana. Sadly, that's all I have currently. I will be trying to survive Chiefs Kingdom shenanigans that are coming through here in Missouri. Stay frosty, Ian. Ian, we don't need St. Louis. Come on, Jason Tatum. We need it. He needs to stay here. Not go there. Anyways, let's jump on over to the NBA section. See what is going on around the league. I'll pull the standings up on the screen as I always do. Let's see. NBA
you saw my
standings.
Change, right, Jack?
You're what? Yeah. We're good. All right. NBA standings. First in the Eastern Conference is still Mr. Jason Tatum. Can you change the background to blue? Would you mind while I'm over here?
I can.
Much appreciated. No, you're good. Celtics with it is crazy that they've won 77% of the games. Like that is a nuts percentage when you look at it in in a hole. Cavs in second now, 5 games above the Cavs. Celtics on a 4-game win streak. Cavs riding a 9. Bucks 7 games back of the Celtics. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games. Not great. Knicks 7-3. Sixers 2-8 in their last 10. They are free falling down the standings without Embiid, which makes sense. Pacers and Magic both 6-4. Heat 4-6. Bulls 5-5. Hawks 4-6, and then the bottom of the East. Not great. Pistons 4-6 though. They are, as they say, cooking.
They are. They're back.
And
I
unfortunately,
would hate
Grant
to play
ruined
the
our
Pistons.
10-game losing streak. Hornets. They won. Disaster. Grant fucked it up.
I hate
But
Grant.
he ruined our fun. Out west, Timberwolves have reassumed place just barely above the rest of the West. They're half a game up on the Clippers, Thunder, Nuggets. Timberwolves, Thunder, however, 6-4 in their last 10. Clippers 8-2, Nuggets 7-3. Rest of the West is extremely mid, except for the Warriors, who have won 4 games in a row. The Mavericks have also won 4 games in a row, but the Warriors 7-3 in their last 10. 500 again, Sam. Turning it around.
Draymond
maybe.
effect.
Draymond effect. Draymond, have you seen those stats?
I saw on Reddit that somebody made a split of no Draymond / yes Draymond with Curry's numbers, and I'm pretty sure there's like a huge bump.
Draymond's been an overwhelming positive, and he's not had any tech since he's been back. Reformed. He's back. Genuinely, he's been a plus.
I sent you the thing where
minutes.
it's like Draymond looked in the camera to make sure that people could see he's changed. Like it was like him checking on somebody that was hurt.
But like, yes, but unironically though, he's been a lot better in terms of that area of things since he's been back, and he
Nurkic
is.
disagrees.
In fact, did he say that?
Yeah, Nurkic was like pissed off after the game they played against Golden State on Saturday.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yeah, I think he said like it's sad to see like he was like trying to get help and is still the same guy because I think they got into it. I don't know how I forgot to put this on the sheet. I feel bad. You know what it is because we recorded Saturday, so I just kind of assumed that we had covered it, but we did earlier today.
Well, I will say the Warriors are 14-12 when Draymond plays this season. And in their last 10 games, like I said, they're 7-3. So they have in fact been turning it around. So credit to them. I just looked at the last 10 games. Luka in the last 10 games, 38 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists on 52-41 splits. It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
And they're 6-3 in those games, so they're playing pretty well. They're doing all right. Anyways, that's the Western Conference. Sam, we do have sneaking up there into our 10-game needed column. Grizzlies 8 in a row. Getting there.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to do this to them.
Yeah, but it might happen. It might happen. Anyways, next NBA thing is Mr. LeBron could take a pay cut to play with Bronny, which I feel like we've kind of maybe not known, but like assumed for a while. This came from, was this Windy?
Mark Stein.
Mark Stein
on the sheet.
Sorry, yes, I was scrolling down. Quote, I know of at least 2 teams on the NBA map that believe LeBron would consider signing with them at far less than $51.4 million if Bronny James is on the roster. There might be more in terms of teams. Now, LeBron James has made it very clear that he would like to play with his son. So this doesn't surprise me at all. And also, like, I don't care. Like, you want to play with your kid. I get it. Like, sure.
Nothing wrong with
it. If anything, this should be a respect
LeBron
from Sam.
Should have been taking pay cuts for years. Yeah, I think there's a lot of crying about LeBron not having enough help where when we all are from here and watched Brady play for the Patriots and continuously take pay cuts to win, I don't really feel bad. The answer is make less money from the team you're playing for, where you could say, why would you do that? He should make all the money he deserves. Well, he has like so much going on off the court. He could play for free and be just fine. Like it's really just how badly do you want to win? And the answer is apparently not that bad, except for when it comes to trading everybody. Then he wants to win super bad. Shout out to Seth Rogen. But I mean, this is like a cool thing, I guess. Like, yeah, about time you took a pay cut, buddy. And I actually think if LeBron was making less money and was like taking a pay cut, he'd be a very, very valuable piece. Like, I don't know if I think LeBron is a very valuable piece right now. I just don't. And you laugh, but like, I don't think I'm making like crazy biased points. Like, I think he's not worth the trouble right now. You're paying him up the ass. He's constantly throwing his team under the bus and putting the blame elsewhere. And the Lakers aren't winning games. Like, they're not. And it's because they do what he says. he has such a stranglehold on the front office, and they finally have pushed back on him and decided not to gut the remaining 2 picks that they can trade this season. And he's out there tweeting out the hourglass and stuff. Like, I think like the Celtics are a bad example, but you wouldn't want him on the Celtics.
Saying LeBron James isn't worth the max contract is the most biased thing you've ever said in your life. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
I think so. I could have my opinion.
Why aren't
too.
the Lakers winning, Jack? Why? Why aren't they?
They're
Is it because he's hurt? No. Him and Davis have been healthy all season. Why aren't they winning?
They've been really good because they're just not
They've
good
been
enough.
really good. They're 9th in the West. They're not really good.
LeBron and Anthony Davis have been really good.
Why aren't they winning?
I don't know. The team is not good enough.
Why is the team not good enough?
They just don't have the right pieces around them. I guess. I
Why
don't know.
don't they have the right pieces around them? I
They
laid
didn't
all
sign
these
the right
things
players. They
out.
didn't-
You're telling me I'm biased. I just told you why.
Why?
Because he dictates beyond the player role. He wants them to make the moves he wants. What was it? 2 years ago, they brought in all his buddies. They didn't play well.
Mhm.
And they've been trying to recover from that since. And last season at the deadline, they gutted all their picks,
And it worked.
all of their assets.
And it worked.
They won a championship, didn't they? And they're in a great spot now, aren't they?
I got them to Western Conference Finals. They built the right team.
The Lakers are very much like the
Yes,
Celtics in the sense
I'm
that
saying
that does not matter.
I think blaming LeBron for the entirety of their problems. Did he have a part in it? Sure, but I think saying he's not worth a max contract because of it when he's playing
At this
great
point,
basketball is
I don't
insanity.
know if I'm not saying he was never.
I
worth
think you're
that.
crazy. I
just-
think that's ridiculous.
Right now, I would.
But
You
anyways.
can't trust him to build a team around that. And we haven't even talked about the Bronny part of this, which I don't think he's going to enter the draft. But this gives more fuel to the maybe teams would take him if he entered the draft.
Regardless, next thing we got Mitch Kupchak stepping down, or their GM front office group is stepping down and moving into different roles with the Hornets, which makes sense. I guess like they're bad. Obviously, it hasn't really worked out in Charlotte. They had a
Been cold for a while.
disastrous draft cycle recently. The 2021 draft, they had 2 lottery picks, neither of whom are on the team anymore, which is insane. Like, that's crazy, right?
That's
That's
a
fucking
quick
crazy.
turnaround for those guys no
Um,
longer to be on the team. Yes.
To have 2 players who should still be under rookie contracts right now not be on the team is a horrible mismanagement and decision draft wise. And for what it's worth, I even like both those picks at the time. It just shows why I'm not in the front office, and maybe they should be either. But they're not in the front office in Charlotte anymore. Yeah. This is Woj saying Charlotte Hornets PBO, President of Basketball Operations. Kupchak is stepping down to become an organizational advisor, clearing the way for the franchise to begin an immediate search for a new head of basketball operations. Among several league executives expected to be considered in the process, Pelicans GM Trahan Langdon, sorry if that's wrong, Brooklyn assistant GM Jeff Peterson, Cleveland GM Mike Gansey, Philadelphia GM Elton Brand, and several others. Sources tell ESPN. Thoughts,
I
Sam?
didn't know
Any
Brand
thoughts?
was
It's
still with
just-
the Sixers.
Yeah, I guess I didn't either.
I thought Morey took over for him. I guess I'm just wrong. Whatever. I mean, Hornets have gotten so bad that I'm sort of rooting for them to at least be competitive. They've been bad long enough. They're a small market. It's not like the Knicks where I don't feel bad for them no matter what. I just won't. But I don't know. LaMelo has been in the league for a while. He plays okay. Has some health problems. Brandon Miller's been playing okay. Grant's there now. We can kind of root for Grant, even though it's fun to root against him. I don't like to see any Eastern Conference team get good, though, so I don't want them to get too good.
We'll see. I don't know if that's anything to worry about with Charlotte right now. At least not yet. Is this also Mark Stein? I think so. Trae Young.
Yeah.
Trae Young might not be long for Atlanta. This is from, as Sam said, Mark Stein, as I tried to put the timestamp down and forgot who it was when I scrolled up. Yeah, Mark Stein. Could the Hawks ultimately decide to keep DeJounte Murray and trade Trae Young in the offseason? I can tell you this much. They've certainly convinced various rival teams that DeJounte in, Trae out is going to be legitimately considered. San Antonio tops the perceived list the Spurs have circulated for months among prominent league observers as a viable destination for Young's offensive gifts. In Victor Wembanyama, they also seemingly possess precisely the sort of long and rangy defensive anchor who could mitigate Young's defensive deficiencies. I wrote about this earlier this year for Spurs Wire that Trae Young's camp would welcome a trade to San Antonio, or they wouldn't mind it. Not that they were itching for it, but effectively the topic was brought up and they're like, yeah, I mean, Trae would like to play for Pop and Victor and all that stuff. or he wouldn't say no. Interesting. I mean, I've long said I think Trae is the one they should trade. That said, I am not on the same course of you where I think Trae Young is a incredible offensive player, like probably one of the best offensive organizers in the NBA. It is just he is Peyton Pritchard on steroids in terms of horrendous on defense. It is. You can take. I genuinely think Trae Young might be a top 10 offensive player in the NBA. He is probably a bottom 10 defensive player in the NBA. So you really have to weigh the value there. And I will also say, I do think it is maybe not in the playoffs, but I do think it is easier to mitigate potential defensive deficiencies in this NBA than potential offensive deficiencies. Look at Ben Simmons. Look at Andre Roberson. Like, you can't be a non-offensive player in this NBA. You have to do something. You can be a bad defensive player and still be on a good team.
I think if you are an elite offensive player, it can be mitigated, but there are a lot of guys that are like average. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
I agree.
And I'm gonna back you on this in a second. But like there are plenty of players that are very good offensive players that just don't have a role because they can't be trusted, especially on good teams.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so Trae Young. Of places I think he could be the best, San Antonio has to be there. And here's why. Not only from an offensive standpoint with the possibilities, right? Like, we don't even have to talk about that. You talked about his defense. Terrible, ass, non-existent, traffic cone, you name it. Well, if you're going to get burnt and blown by, of all the people that could be there, Wemby has to be the most ideal. Just waiting. Guys play completely different when they play against San Antonio. They have to think a bit more when it comes to, oh, what do I want to do in the paint? Wemby can close out on me from the other side of the rim when I'm in the corner. Wow, this is weird. I'm not used to this. So Trae Young being bad at defense may get mitigated in San Antonio. You're absolutely right. If he were to play there, we don't know. But if it's a landing spot, makes sense for them.
Definitely. 100%. I also think it's worth noting that Trae Young is a great player. And I don't know if Dejounte Murray is good enough offensively to lead that Hawks team the way Trae Young does. In fact, I definitely know he's not. They're not even close to the same offensive talent. And I don't think building a core around Dejounte Murray and Jaylen Johnson is as effective as Atlanta. To be honest, I think the best thing for the Hawks to do would be go all in on targeting defense at the big man spot. Like, go trade for a defensive center, trade for defensive pieces, build around Trae Young, but instead of building shooters and offensively, build defensively. Get 3-and-D guys, even if they're lower level than maybe a Bogdanovich, even if you're getting like a lower level 3-and-D guy who might not be as good as Bogdanovich offensively, like focus on the defensive end. That said, I would understand if they want to trade now and get a huge asset and just sort of reset and rebuild and retool. Also, another team that I think would work, I think Brooklyn would be a phenomenal fit defensively for Trae Young. I think he'd be great in Brooklyn. And I think that's exactly the type of thing they should want to target. Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton, right? You got good defensive pieces. You got shooters and Cam Johnson. You got picks to build and trade. I think Brooklyn is a team to watch if Trae Young does become available as well. So,
I mean, he's better Dennis Schroeder, who has I guess.
With not as near
long arms,
not nearly as good a defender too. Dennis Schroeder, respect him as a defender. He's quality.
He's still small though.
He's small, but he's like good. How tall is Dennis Schroeder? I thought he's like 6'1". That's it. Wow, I must be losing my mind. I thought he was like 6'3" at least. He is 6'1". So. You're right, but he's gritty. He's fun. Next thing we got on here is Patrick Beverley breaking some more trade news, except this time, or not trade news, but breaking some more news, though this time might not be his.
Not about him.
Yeah. On the Bev pod. Is this from the Pat Bev pod account?
This is from Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Season forward and offensive threat Marcus Morris is leaning towards signing with the Timberwolves, per sources. His veteran presence will provide a winning culture to any team looking for a playoff boost. This is, shout out my former teammate. This guy, my boy, gave me the fucking scoop.
Yeah.
That's all
I
time.
like that.
Do you like Marcus Morris in Minnesota? Whatever.
I do. I think Marcus Morris is a player that can help you win games still. I don't think he's prime Marcus Morris, but I think he has a bucket getting ability, oddly enough, that I think
Yeah.
Minnesota might be able to use a bit of, especially like at times in the game where Ant might be on the bench, or, we talked before about Mike Conley being a big important piece for them where he needs to get going. And when he doesn't get going, they don't have a backup plan. Marcus Morris is not going to play backup point guard for you, but he can be a backup scoring option for you if you need that. And he's an okay defender. So I don't hate it.
I agree. Yeah, I don't hate it for them. He's fine. I'll give him another veteran like
Especially
Pat Bev,
for
Pod
the
Bench.
buyout contract money.
Yeah, why not? And then last thing we got, speaking of, you can tell when Sam makes a sheet and I don't, because I didn't even fucking know what the fuck like this happened.
You didn't know this was a thing at all?
I knew that they were together. Larsa, Pippen, and Jordan Son have perished, per Sam. I knew they were dating. I didn't know like it ended,
Okay.
but
I just found out when I was making
what
the
is
sheet
this? Yeah, what is going on?
All right. So if you didn't know, the most bizarre relationship maybe ever was happening right under all of our noses, with the NBA being the big connector. Larsa Pippen, Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, and Michael Jordan's son, not exactly sure what his name, I think it might be Mike Jr., but don't quote me on that. Marcus Jordan, I'm sorry.
Yes, good.
Were engaged, I believe. They are no longer. So I was on Reddit today, in my favorite NBA subreddit, NBA Circle Jerk, which could be pulling my leg here. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is right.
I'm seeing it on Google too. I think you're good.
Okay. Reddit tells me that she has unfollowed Marcus Jordan on Instagram. She has scrubbed her account of all remnants of him and posted the following poll to her story. Should your friends unfollow your ex? The answer is yes. Yes. So,
yes.
Have to assume they have perished.
Sure.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends on the ex, I guess. I was gonna say. Anyways, yeah, I don't really have much insight to give you on this. I don't really care. I don't know.
You
cool.
don't have any X's and O's for me, Jack?
No. Well, actually, Larsa sets a mean pin down screen. Marcus goes around the. No, I got shit for you. Cool. Yeah, this is saying good for them, man.
It's probably a win for society, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Win for you know who's a win for? It's a win for Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
Yeah, they can feel like not weird if they're not weird normally. I don't really know how that relates.
They don't like each other. Bad. Really bad.
Yeah.
You didn't know this? Scottie Pippen
I thought about it, but I'm not positive. I wasn't positive.
Scottie Pippen last year was just bashing Michael Jordan. I wrote about it for Bulls Wire all the time. Not a fan. Not fans. Each other.
Probably hates that everyone's like Mike was the best.
Yeah, didn't like the documentary, I guess. But speaking of bashing, let's go to the rat list here. What do you got for me? Kick us off. What you want? What you got?
Rat list were calories last night. Last night was the Super Bowl, if you didn't know.
Super Bowl for calories too.
Super Bowl is a day where calories don't count.
And W.
I put up. Oh, I forgot I have leftovers downstairs. Actually,
what do you got?
I have wings. This is a good moment for me now. I'm very happy.
What flavors of wings?
We had 4 different flavors that came. We had buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, and go ahead, Sam. You got it. What was the last one? You big dumb idiot. Honey garlic.
Honey barbecue. Honey buffalo sounds fire. I haven't had.
It is fire. It is the best of the bunch.
Where'd you get from?
Wings Heaven. It's a place near me. Fantastic wings. Fine establishment. That is my go-to place. So shout out to them.
If you'd like wings and you're ever up near my neck of the woods, Wendell's in Norton. I'm telling you, best wings you'll ever have.
Okay.
Phenomenal wings. Yes.
But anyways, I must have
sorry.
eaten 20 plus wings. I had some fries. I had cookies. My friend made Dunkaroos dip for cookies.
Yep.
Fantastic. I don't know. I think it's Cool Whip, yogurt, and cake batter with sprinkles. Change your life. I had quite a bit to eat.
That's all time. We didn't have much at the thing. We had buffalo chicken dip, phenomenal, no complaints. And then Brian made pigs in a blanket, but instead of rolls, he used puff pastry.
Mm,
Very good.
yeah.
Very good. Shut up, Brian. Ratless the Niners. What the fuck, guys? You had one fucking job. One job. Like that's all you had to do.
You didn't
You
care
just had to-
yesterday. This is on you.
I know.
You didn't care.
I know. Well, then I put money on him. I changed my tune when I had a little money.
I think when I told you I
in the-
had Niners, you gave me shit about it too.
Did I? I don't think so. I think what I said was
my head.
I think what I said was I don't want the Niners or the Chiefs to win because the Niners feel like the Niners feel like the favorite this year, but the Chiefs feel like the favorite every year, even though the Chiefs were kind of the underdog going into
Sure.
this. So it's just like a lose-lose. But then the whole Super Bowl party I was at or the gathering was on Niners money line. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll put some skin in the game too. Nope. Fucked. Also, Ratless, your house's ears. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, I was gonna fucking do the story, but
Oh, sorry.
I guess I'll do it now.
Yeah, do it. Super Bowl. It's the same thing. Ratless.
Well, this whole thing is just gonna be about the Super Bowl party.
Yeah, I guess.
Rat list tales. So I went to a Super Bowl gathering yesterday at my friend McKenna's house, and the squad ride was tails. Everybody there had tails. There were actually like two different groups of friends at this thing. It was a lot of people. So everybody had tails except for one guy. And there are multiple televisions set up because there's so many people we cannot all fit in one room.
That's kind of fire.
Our television has the sound. They do the coin flip. I swear to God, I heard tails.
You want to do a VAR? Should we see? Can I find it?
No,
Heads,
because I don't want to get copywritten.
Good call. Yes, smart. I will say. Let me listen. Let me see.
I'm not going to talk when you listen.
Let me see what they say. I'm listening now. Sorry, you don't get audio.
Oh, I just don't want to make you not hear it.
I heard heads clearly. I will say I did hear one clip earlier where I could like a little bit hear it like maybe it sounded like Ted's. Like I heard a T at the start, but my whole party heard heads, so that's why I was confused that your whole place heard tails.
Well, our party went into jubilation. Scenes
How much did you put
celebration. On it? I only put like 15. I don't bet very big, but like
my buddy put 50 on heads. $50.
No, I would never do that.
He was electric. He was like, "Let's fucking go!"
Yeah.
I got there late, so I got there right as the coin toss was happening. So one of my friend Ryan came running down. He was like, "Tails, coin toss, coin toss!" I sprinted up the stairs, and my friend Brian's pacing his head on hands. He put 50 on it. It was a great way to start the night. That just went downhill from there.
But the entire place, we were celebrating. I was so locked in that I tweeted. I was like, "Yeah, like we all won." And then you were like, "No." And then we all started to like slowly find out we didn't win.
Did I break the news to you?
Yeah, I think you did. I was like, "Wait, why is he saying that it didn't win?" Like, and everyone else was replying to my tweet. They were like, "Tough." I was like, "What do you mean tough? We all just won."
Yeah, you tweeted the money laying down. I was like, "What is this guy talking about?"
Yeah, I thought we won and we didn't. So I guess ratless that. I don't know how that, and that was tails in overtime.
Yeah, I know. Tough. It is with great shame and sadness that I have to ratless Duncan. Cause Sam, it's sold out already.
Oh no!
Yeah.
We've been working
I
the
know.
entire
Day.
This is a catastrophe.
I know. So Duncan, for context, put on what was easily the best commercial of the night. Tom Brady,
Correct.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, J-Lo. Phenomenal commercial. The Dunk Kings. And I was gonna get it too. The Dunk Kings collection, the track jacket and the pants. But it is sold out. And I'm
They got to do a restock. They can make so much money.
I know. I'll buy it. I'll buy it immediately. Are you kidding me? Fuck yeah, I'll buy it. But sad. Rat list the masses for getting it all.
I was gonna do it. I would have bought them.
I would have too. That's why rat list. I'm very upset. Very sad.
I'm devastated.
Me too. Unfortunate. All right. That's my rat list. Duncan. Or the masses, the people, for ruining my day.
Do you have any more?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. Ratless Super Bowl drivers. There's a lot of people like driving like morons last night. They were pretty ass.
Some guy laid on the horn outside of my house yesterday because like my neighbor had people over, and this guy was backing out of the neighbor's driveway and was like about to start driving, and this guy like, mind you, Jack. Well, you've been to my house.
Yeah.
I do not live in an area where like I'm on a through street. Like
No.
you're not going anywhere very quickly if you're driving past my house. So somebody just is like driving down my street and they just lay on the horn at this guy as they're trying to like get situated after driving out of the driveway, and then they speed around them. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like 11:30.
Yeah.
Like, where do you have to be?
Oh, also, ratless people who honk at others in a giant line of traffic. They can't fucking go anywhere either, you moron. What is wrong with you? I'm on an exit ramp trying to get into somewhere, and it's like,
they just want to voice their displeasure.
Yeah, I don't know what the highway is called, but like it's going off an exit ramp, but then you have to merge in with traffic that are coming from other lights, so it's tough to get off. So it's usually a big line at the exit. And there's just dude, I hear like 6 cars behind, just like honk honk. I'm like, where do you want them to go? Like what? Hello, what is going on? So that ratless people like that's lame. I'll let you close if you got something else.
Ratless, this guy that was at the Super Bowl party. So, like I said, 2 groups of friends at this event. We didn't all know each other. I did know this person. They went to school, like when I was in school. Like I'm aware of them. I know them by name, whatever. Familiar with them. But like it's the not familiar with the rest of the group kind of thing. Like you're not close. So you can't really have like wild times with people that you're not close with. But sometimes you can if you're that guy. He very loud, very what is the word, Jack?
Vocal?
Not vocal. It's like oh my gosh. It's usually like an adjective for drunk. Belligerent.
Belligerent, yes.
Very drunk, very belligerent. A lot of group chat messages being sent about this individual last night. Bro thought he was on the team. We'll put it that way. He had money on the Niners. He was flipping out. He had a hat on. He kept throwing the hat when anything would happen. So he just kept whipping the hat around. He took his shirt off. Doesn't have the body for it. But anyways, yesterday, as I mentioned, I ate all the calories. Ate everything. Went to take a shit at the party, as one does. Was fine. Nothing abnormal from me. Close the door, go in, get busy. This guy just kind of stumbles in. Just comes right in. Oh, you didn't lock the door. Well, you see, I found this room with the door open, so I knew nobody was in there. And I would not have just busted in if the door was closed. So, I mean, he didn't really get in. There were also TVs in literally every room, so there was like a TV blocking like the doorway in the bathroom. But he was just like about to just stumble in the bathroom. I'm like, I'm in here. Leave. He like, so this guy like, I guess ran down the street naked after the game. Like he was fucked up. He was fucked.
Oh, this is not like one of your friends, just a random motherfucker.
Yeah, no. This is like a random.
Who came into your friend's house?
Well, he's not a random. Like he was invited. But he is from the opposite side. Like my friend that hosted McKenna is a very like social person. He has a lot of friends. So like, of course, like there are going to be people there we don't all know, and that's fine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But like, he's like coming because like me and my main group of friends like watched the game in one room, and the other group was kind of in the other room because there just wasn't enough room for everybody. Yeah. But he would like come in and like scream at people that he doesn't know all that well because they're on the other side of the bet. Like just an all-time like belligerent character. So all-time rat. I will not name drop him. If you were there, you know who he was. But I got word when I was about to go to sleep that he had run down the street naked. Nothing. Not at all. Nothing on.
That's all time. So I assume he bet on the Chiefs.
He bet on the Niners.
Oh, what the fuck? What is happening?
Well, not everyone bet on the Niners. I just happened to be one.
No. But the guy who streaked. bet on the
Yeah, see, I
Niners?
don't know. I don't know what was going on. He had significant interest in putting his penis in somebody's mouth. He kept saying, "You guys are going to suck my cock," to those that bet the Chiefs.
I saw a TikTok.
People that he's not all that close with.
I saw a TikTok. Someone put $12,000 on the Chiefs, and it wasn't like a famous person. It was just some random motherfucker like bet his life savings on Pat
I mean, there was the
Mahomes.
guy that did the $5,000 bet on the Pistons.
Yikes. Anyways, that's it. That's all we got. Should we wrap it up here?
Wrap it up.
Let's get
I
on
hope
out of
you
here.
guys enjoyed that.
Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it very much. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. You can check us out on Spotify and Apple as well. Leave us 5 stars. Follow us there. All that good stuff. But subscribe. Be ready for Talking Seas Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll be live around morning time, 11, 12. Catch us there. And then 5 a.m. every day on How About Them Celtics YouTube. We will be there no matter what.
Probably won't be live Wednesday.
Probably. Okay. Most Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. They'll be accepted.
Monday, Fridays, we will be live.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Even better. Monday, Fridays live. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll let Sam wrap it up.
All right. Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. Jack mentioned Talking Seas with Bobby. Those come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They'll be live Monday, Fridays. You can find the full-length pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Any game recap will go up on days there is no pod to stick it into, just like that guy wanted to do with his penis to my friend's mouth. There's also film breakdowns and trade rumor breakdowns or whatever rumor breakdowns, probably buyout breakdowns now. Just other videos going up. You don't want to miss any of it. We're live a half hour before every game, so come hang out. It's a ton of fun. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. If you go there and follow us, you'll get the audio versions of the full pods and game recaps right to your inbox. Jack would appreciate it very much if you leave a 5-star review. You can also reach out to us via email. We just went through. We did the email segment. We had some great emails today. You can do that. hbtcpod@gmail.com is the address to reach us at. So we love to hear from you. Definitely send some over. You can find us on socials at How About Them Seas, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Just the name of the podcast. Our streams are there and on YouTube and on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JackSmonNBA. Mine's at Sam France NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.